I'll never let another woman take my son away from me. Not even you. I found that note tucked in my mother-in-law's diary, next to 5 years' worth of empty birth control pill bottles she'd been secretly feeding me. I married my husband Liam 5 years ago, and from the second we said I do, his mom Margaret has been the perfect mother-in-law. Everyone told me how lucky I was. She'd bring us home-cooked meals every Sunday. She'd help me clean the house. She'd listen when I cried about how badly I wanted to be a mom. For 5 years, Liam and I have been trying to get pregnant. We've been to countless doctors, we've done every test imaginable, and every single time, the doctors tell us we're both perfectly healthy. They can't figure out why I'm not getting pregnant. I was heartbroken. I blamed myself. I thought there was something wrong with me, something the tests weren't picking up. Margaret was always there for me, holding me when I cried, telling me it was okay, that maybe it just wasn't meant to be. That Liam and I had each other, and that was enough. I thought she was being kind. I was so stupid. Last week, Margaret went on vacation to visit her sister, and she asked me to water her plants while she was gone. I'd been to her house 100 times, but that day, something made me go into her bedroom. I opened her closet, and I found a locked box tucked under a pile of sweaters. I broke the lock open, and what I found inside made me throw up. There were dozens of empty birth control pill bottles, all prescribed in my name, dating back 5 years, to the month we got married. There was a journal, filled with entries about how she'd been crushing up the pills and putting them in my coffee every morning, in the food she brought over, in the smoothies she'd make me when I was stressed. She wrote about how Liam was her whole life, how his dad had left them when he was a baby, how she'd raised him alone, how she'd never let another woman take him away from her, how a baby would tie him to me forever, and she couldn't let that happen. The note I found was tucked in the back of the journal, dated for the day I was supposed to find it. She knew I was getting suspicious. She knew I'd started checking my food, my coffee. She wrote that she was tired of hiding, that she was going to tell Liam the truth, that she was going to tell him I'd been taking birth control behind his back, that I'd never wanted to have a baby with him, that I'd been lying to him this whole time. I drove straight to Liam's office, the box in my hand, and I showed him everything. I thought he'd be horrified, that he'd stand by me. But he just stared at me, his face cold, and told me he already knew. He'd found out 2 years ago. He'd caught his mom crushing the pills in my coffee, and she'd told him that I was too young, that I wasn't ready to be a mom, that she was just protecting us. He let her do it. For 2 years, he'd watched his mom poison me, and he'd said nothing. I felt my world shatter. The man I'd married, the man I'd wanted to have a baby with, had known this whole time, and he'd let it happen. I ran out of his office, and I went straight to the police. I filed a report. I gave them all the evidence, the bottles, the journal, the note. But Margaret comes home tomorrow, and Liam texted me this morning, telling me I need to come home, that we need to talk, that his mom is family, and we need to work this out. I'm sitting in a motel room right now, my bags packed, ready to leave this state forever. But I'm not just going to run. She stole 5 years of my life, 5 years of trying to have a baby that I could never have, because she was poisoning me, and I'm not going to let her get away with it.